The Big Five is the premise that all personality traits fall under 5 major personality trait categories. These are extroversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness, neuroticism, and openness. These categories are scales, and every person lies somewhere on these scales. We are going to look at each category to see what they are. First, extroversion. A person who is high in extroversion is going to go outside the house more. They gain energy from being around people and tend to do it more often. They seek out exciting and new experiences. But a person who is low in extroversion may be socially withdrawn and prefer quiet activities at home or with a small group of people who are in their close circle. Next, agreeableness. A person with high agreeableness is going to tend to agree with what is said, even if it goes against their thoughts. They may believe it's better to agree with others to keep everyone happy than to state their own belief. They tend to be seen as gullible and easily to manipulate or get along with. A person low in agreeableness tends to believe their opinion is final. They are less likely to change their mind on something and are more likely to state why others' opinions are wrong. Then, conscientiousness. A big example of a person who has a high level of conscientiousness is a perfectionist. They strive to be organized, responsible, and have long work hours because they can't be done until it's perfect and can't stop thinking about something until it's done to their standards. But example with a person that can be low in consciousness is someone with ADHD. They tend to be less organized and easily distractible and have poor impulse controls. Not all people with ADHD and perfectionism land on these spots of consciousness, but many do. A person who is high in openness tends to like new experiences. They like to try new things and are considered more creative people. But a person who is low in openness tends to prefer to do the same things, something they know they will be good at and would like. Lastly, neuroticism. A person high in neuroticism tends to be a more anxious person, someone who is easily angered and shameful. They tend to have less stable emotions, but someone who is low in neuroticism tends to be a person who has a positive outlook on the world and is emotionally stable. I took 2 questionnaires, the TIPI and IPIP scales, to find where I lie in each personality group. My results with the TIPI questions show me as high in consciousness, openness, and agreeableness, low in extroversion, and in the middle with neuroticism. My results with the IPIP questionnaire show me as high in agreeableness, low in extroversion and openness, and in the middle with conscientiousness and neuroticism. So how do I feel about these results? I feel the results are pretty accurate to my personality. I have always been an introverted and quiet person who prefers putting others before myself, even when it becomes detrimental to myself. So specific examples of where I fall within each spectrum, I fall more towards introversion on the extroversion personality scale. This is something that is obvious when anyone meets me. I am a shy person who prefers to listen rather than speak. My preferred group size is 1 or 2 people. Along with introversion is openness to new experiences. I have to disagree with both tests. While I do enjoy a new activity, it would be one that I can succeed at. I tend to be frightened of new experiences until I'm pushed through. Therefore, I think I'm low in this category. With agreeableness, I'm a highly agreeable person. I find it easier to accept what others say than to argue unless it's going to hurt someone. With conscientiousness, I agree with the IPIP scale. With my conscientiousness lands in the middle, due to me putting a high level on the work I do and not being able to stop thinking about it until I'm done. But I am not a very clean and organized person, which I believe is why the IPIP scale put me in the middle. I think both tests are correct when it comes to neuroticism. I tend to be in the middle and leaning towards low in neuroticism due to my anxiety. I think that's the reason the TIPI scale is slightly higher than the IPIP scale, because of the lack of questions. I tend to rate myself low on anything because of a belief that I can better at anything I do. So the questionnaire with little questions, I rated myself lower than I should. This is why I believe the IP is more accurate, because there are more questions and they are more specific, which gave me less of a chance for rating myself too low. So how could I use my personality as a strength in my life? I prefer working with children over adults. Children tend to need a soft, nurturing hand, and I believe my high levels of conscientiousness, introversion, and agreeableness make me the perfect person for working with them. My strength is gentleness and understanding towards others.